Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the free daily coaching hangout. We got a new review here this morning because I'm broadcasting from the laptop. The desktop needed to take a break, and I needed to get it restarted, so I had to refire it up. So good morning to everyone out there in computer land. I see Craig's with us this morning. Good morning, Craig. Good morning, Tom. It's great to see you here again. Clive, it's nice to see you. Leanne, I see you're here. Berta, good morning. Everyone say hi to Berta. I just got to meet Berta yesterday, and I thought she had a great name because who doesn't like to have Bert in their name? Who else? We got Schaus is always in the house. We got Mrs. Dale Whiteside is here this morning. Good morning, Dale. Got Double D, Debbie Deerdorf, and Mel Hunter is here this morning as well. I think Heidi Kakamisi is trying to join us from over on the Facebook side, so I tried to send her a link to get her set up as well. And let me just make sure, if you want to come over and visit us live and actually hang out on the webinar, if you just visit us over at freedailycoaching.com, you can go and get registered. So it's at, so someone's trying to get registered. I'm just giving someone the website. And do me a favor, guys and gals, go over to www.freedailycoaching.com and tell me if you actually see the registration form over on the page. If you're watching this, just go over and check and see if you see the registration page right on the front, and tell me if you do actually see that. And then just let me know. So this morning we're going to talk about something fun. Tomorrow we have on Free Daily Coaching Friday, we're going to have a good friend of mine. Really, wow, it's so weird to say because I like to think of this person kind of like a mentor, but really not a mentor as much as a professional that I've gotten to know really well and has actually become a good friend of mine, Mr. Larry Hochman. And I actually had the opportunity to work with Larry just a few, not too long ago, a few months ago. As I talked a little bit before about this, I was having some challenges in my own business. And so what I wanted to do was actually set myself up so that I didn't self-destruct. And so during that time, I wanted to do some counseling. I had the opportunity to hire Larry, and what an amazing experience it was. And so just recently, Larry is doing the Mind Intensive this summer, as some of you already know by now. And because of that, I did some promotion for that. And the cart is still available if that's something that you want to do. And tomorrow we're going to bring Larry over, and I'm going to talk to Larry just a little bit more, and we're going to share a little bit more about the stories that came out of my working with Larry, and then what that looks like in your business, and how my experience could help you, so that you could take something from what I did, and then also looking at that opportunity to say, hey, is this something in my journey, and this something in my experience that I want to have, right? That I want to add into the mix for myself. And that's really something that each of us gets to decide on our own. And so I just wanted to bring Larry out because it was so transformational in my business and what I was doing. I wanted to bring it to you guys so that you could see it, you could feel it, and you guys actually meet Larry a little bit more one-on-one if you haven't already. So good morning to you, Clive. I see Mr. Jeffrey is here as well. Good morning. We did see Heidi Kakamisi jump on this morning. So good morning and welcome, Heidi. Judy, what is up? All right, so this morning we're going to talk about two things. The first thing that I want to talk about is the just a little house cleaning, right? We always want to do house cleaning when we're here. And so the first thing I wanted to talk about was yesterday we had our paid members. So if you're an MLSP Mastery member with me, or you're a paid member of the Friends of Free Daily Coaching, right? If you're actually a member at the membership site, yesterday and every Wednesday we do our workshops. And yesterday we actually worked with Chris Schaus, had some great stuff that we worked on. And so we wanted another step further. So I'm going to actually be doing a bonus module today. So if you're actually not doing my paid training yet, if that's not something that you're a part of, but you want to be, then you can simply go to www.freedailycoaching.com/friends. And you can go and check out the different options on how you can tap into that. And yes, you do get all the recorded sessions, but maybe you want to kind of test the water. Well, this morning at 9:30 a.m. Mountain Time, so that's 11:30 Eastern, that's 8:30 Pacific, 10:30 Central, we're going to do a bonus module. And the real reason is because I'm excited about summer school. So if you don't know, this is just more housekeeping. Diane Hockman and I have teamed up for the summer. We've actually joined forces and said, hey, we both promote My Lead System Pro. What about if we did something together? So Diane's on a push, I'm on a push. We said, let's put our teams together. Let's put the people that we're working with together in a group. That's our special hot team. And we can help those people to start promoting this summer. Well, how will we do that? Well, since Larry's doing the Mind Intensive, Diane said, Bert, would you, and I had really asked her, she was doing summer school, it was doing free, and I said, Diane, what about teaming up? Do you think we could do that? She said, yeah, would you be willing to do some of the classes? Would you be willing to teach some of the lessons? Absolutely. So now what we're bringing you is double the trouble, right? Double the power. You get Diane Hockman and you get Bert Bledsoe to teach you and your team members. And check this out. Anyone that you may want to bring onto any one of your teams can come into summer school this summer. Starting tonight, we're going to do the opening ceremonies for the summer school. So tonight, we're going to do a kickoff webinar. It's going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern. If you're looking for information on that, just send me a PM real quick. I'll shoot you over into the groups. We'll get you hooked up if you're not already. Now, the hot team, and to get that behind the scenes access, as I mentioned, you have to be an MLSP member directly to myself or Diane or to one of our members. So that's what's going on with that on that front. We also, like I mentioned, we have a guest coming in tomorrow, so we're excited about that. So I wanted to bring something, another good quote into the mix today. And today's quote I wanted to bring from Stephen Covey. And many of you probably are familiar with Covey, Stephen Covey, and you may have read some of his books. You may be familiar. I'm sorry, I got distracted. I like to see when you guys are all like talking to each other in there. You may have seen that like planners, like the Franklin Covey planner. You may have seen just some of Stephen Covey's work, and he's very into organization. He's very into planning out and having a routine for things. And so I thought, he has a really great quote that sort of relates to that, but also what it really ties into is what we're doing here on a regular basis. And that's moving forward, taking actions. And that's why, and I made this announcement just recently, that I said, hey, it's summertime. You guys, this is time where some of us, I'm going to put it into high gear here. I'm going to start turbocharging it. So my fall and winter, it has bounty, right? I'm going to do some planting and some work right now so that I can have some harvest in the summer and the winter. I still want to be, check this out. If you were planting in the spring and you're hoping for a fall harvest, that's awesome. What about if we do some, and I'm using these farming analogies, right? What if we do some late crops right now and we plant all the way through the summer into the fall, early fall, right? Or late summer. That means we're going to have all through the fall and the winter, we'll still be harvesting even into early spring when we start to sow again. So I want you to see the cycles of the year. The seasons that we go through in life on the planet are also the seasons that we go through in our business. And you can use this season right now to move ahead. And I want to use this quote that Stephen Covey had, and it's, "I am not a product of my circumstances. I am a product of my decisions." So empowering, right? It's like empowering, right? When you guys know that I've talked in the past about power poses, I'll bring that one back. Maybe on Monday, next Monday, I'll bring that back because they're so powerful. I actually did a training with one of my mentors, one of my good friends, Rob Four, and he actually brought out the TED Talks with the power poses on his training. And I was like, man, it's so powerful, right? I was teaching about that as well. We talked about it a year ago, so we'll bring it back. I want to give you that empowerment. Imagine this. Imagine that you're the king of the hill, that you're the captain of your ship, right? You control your own destiny. And how do you do it? Well, one of the ways is start having some positive affirmations. Start reading things like this on a regular basis and internalizing it and saying it to yourself. Hey, I'm not a product of my circumstances. I'm a product of my decisions. I'm not a product of my circumstances. That's a reality. I am a product of my decisions. You are a product of your decisions. And this is the cool part. It doesn't matter if you made some poor decisions in the past. We've all made poor decisions. I could give you a laundry list, literally, right? We could bring my wife in. She could add to it. I could bring, family members in, right? Friends. And we could fill this whole entire back wall here with just writing of the poor decisions that I've made, right? But check this out. The poor decisions that we make in life are what allow us to have those learning moments, or what allow us to make the great decisions. If we didn't have poor decisions, we wouldn't also have great decisions that we've made. So think about that statement. Think about that as a positive affirmation to yourself. I'm not a product of my circumstances. I'm a product of my decisions. Let me give you an example. What if you're a person that lives in a low income area? Let's say that you grew up and your parents didn't make too much money. Because of that, your parents bought cheap food. When I say cheap, I mean inexpensive food. Most of the most inexpensive food is some of the worst food for us. So let's say that you grew up in an income that wasn't so great. You didn't eat so great, and because of that, by the time you got into early adulthood and then into middle age, you realize, hey, I'm out of shape. I don't feel good. I'm sick all the time. I'm overweight. I've got high blood pressure. I got gout. I got, whatever the different situations are. Well, check this out. That you're not a product of the circumstances that you had growing up. You're a product of your decisions, right? You have the ability to be able to go in and jump forward and make a new life. You have that ability. You have the possibility to make a different decision, right? If you're not a product of your circumstances, then you're a product of your decision. Well, if you decided to keep on eating that way and keep on feeding yourself bad things, then you got more sick, right? That's a reality. If you made a decision, this is crazy. If you made a decision that you, as an individual, were absolutely 100% worth taking care of, then you would put better food in your body and you would heal yourself, right? That's this quote in reality, in action. I'm not a product of my circumstances. I'm a product of my decisions. I'm going to give you an exact example out of my life before we finish the call today. Many of you don't know this, but a few years ago, before I got into this online world, I was doing some consulting for, I I was working in the restaurant industry for a long, long time, and I wanted to get out, and I was getting out, and I just couldn't do it anymore. And I was trying, I knew about computers, but I didn't know this stuff about it. I knew the hardware part, like take apart your laptop, wire your house for like the internet, stuff like that, because I had been in building before. Okay, so I knew how, like, mechanical stuff. I knew how to work on stuff. So when I was trying to get out of it, I actually got into some consulting, helping some friends of mine in their business. And I got a job ultimately working for them. And it was in the health. They were doctors. They were the lady was a chiropractor, and my buddy was the office manager. And that was his wife. And so at that time, I smoked about 2 packs a day. I smoked about 2 packs of Marlboro Reds every single day. And that's just the way it was. I had smoked cigarettes on and off throughout my adult life. When I was younger, I ran and wrestled, and so I didn't. And then after high school for a little while, I did, and then I stopped, and then I smoked again. And I wasn't a product of my circumstances that my parents smoked, because one of them quit smoking, right? I was a product of my decisions. Just because a lot of my family smoked, just because people around me smoked, didn't mean that I had to smoke, didn't mean that I had to be out of shape. So I'm not a product of my circumstances. I changed my life because I'm a product of my decisions. I made a decision when they offered me that job. They said, if you want this other portion of the job, you'd have to quit smoking. I made a decision that I wanted that portion of the job, so I made it a conscious effort to go and take the steps required to quit smoking cigarettes. I'm not a product of my circumstances because I didn't become old and out of shape, because I'm a product of my decisions, because while I worked for them, I decided to change the way that I lived. I changed what I put into my body. I stopped drinking Pepsi and Coke and Monster drinks for breakfast, and I started eating real food. I started exercising, right? I started getting in shape. So I wasn't a product of my circumstances, because my circumstances up to then was I was an ex-smoker that hadn't done any exercise, that was all beat up and just bleh, felt like junk. I became a product of my decisions because I made decisions to behave differently. I made decisions and then I coupled them with actions. I made decisions and then I coupled them with actions. So I'm not a product of my circumstances. I'm a product of my decisions. What a great, empowering quote from Stephen Covey. I want you to think about a time in your life that you've already had that you're not a product of your circumstances, that you overcame because you were a product of your decision. I want you to think about that right now. I want you to identify one of those times. And it doesn't matter when it was. It might have been last week. It might have been last month. Heck, it could have been when you were 8 years old. Maybe it was when you were 14. Maybe it was just when you just got out of boot camp, when you're in the military at 18 or 19. But I want you to remember a time in your life when you stepped past that, when you can remember that feeling of, I'm not a product of my circumstances, I'm a product of my decisions. And I want you to remember that just for a moment, feel that empowerment. And now I want you to look around at what you're doing right now, where you're at today, in your life, in your business, in your relationships. Where are you at right now today? And can you say to yourself, I am not a product of my circumstances. I am a product of my decisions. Can you today effectively make a decision that's going to move you forward, that's going to help your relationship prosper, that's going to let your business flourish? And if you can say, yes, I do have decisions to make, then make the decision and follow it with the supporting behavior. You have to follow it up with action. You can't make a decision and then sit there in the decision. The decision coupled with action is what gets the results, right? D plus A equals R. Decision plus action. You got to do both. Stephen Covey hits it on the nail with I am not a product of my circumstances. I am a product of my decisions. Are you a product of your decisions? Do you want to become a product of your decisions? Do you want to change the way that you're living? Do you want to change the way that you're doing business? Do you want to change the way that you experience the world? And if you do, you no longer have to. I'm giving you permission right now. Stephen Covey gave you permission when he said this out loud and he published it. He gave it, we are both giving you permission to do something new because you're not a product of your circumstances. You can become the product of your decisions. All right, that's it. That's the free daily coaching message of the day. Remember, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can visit us at www.freedailycoaching.com. You can come over and join us live on the webinar. You can meet all the cool kids like Chris Schaus and Clive Jeffrey. You can say hi to Heidi Kakamisi and Leanne Levy. You can say what's up to Minnie Riley and Dale Whiteside. You can give a shout out to Debbie Deerdorf and Craig Kassler if you want, right? You can meet all kinds of new friends over here at Free Daily Coaching. And while you're here, you can get a moment in the morning of inspiration, and not from just me, not just I'm just saying stuff. I'm bringing you things from other leaders, from other people that we've looked to as a society, as a collective, and said, yes, they accomplished something. Yes, they did something. So let's take their inspiration and let's bring it to our lives each and every morning here at Free Daily Coaching. Let's talk about how we can implement these ideas and then follow them with actions. And how do we do that? Well, simply by doing things like we're going to do this morning. Some of us are gonna go jump on a morning wake-up call that's sponsored by My Lead System Pro. If you're here watching and you're in the chat, you can go to the number 832-551-5901, and that's access code 100669. For those that are watching the replay, you can call in every day at 11. I put it down in the chat. You can call in, and then at the end of that call at 9:30 a.m. Mountain Time this morning, 11:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific there, and 10:30 Central, we are doing a bonus free Friends of Free Daily Coaching. Normally, this is a $97 a month membership for those that are not connected to me and not on my MLSP referral team. So this is this week's bonus. I'm actually doing a bonus module, a bonus episode, and it's absolutely free. So if you're not, go to Facebook and look for the Free Daily Coaching group and make sure that you're a part of that group on Facebook so that you can get the link this morning and watch as we actually go through and make an entire custom funnel followed up with some custom emails, everything that we need right there, created and done for you. And we're going to do it in just under an hour or within an hour. So if that interests you, come and visit us over there. For the rest of you, I'll see you the next time.